It's Saturday night, and for police and passengers, Huntingdon station has just become an unscheduled stop. Armed officers race up the platform alongside a train that shouldn't be here. People flee from the carriages. Somewhere amid them is their attacker. Their 9-carriage train has just been brought to an abrupt halt, and with it, the terror that was inflicted on board.
All of a sudden, I just heard loads of people start screaming and they're shouting, "Run, run, run." As people have come close to me, I can see like a guy covered in blood on his shirt. People are running and screaming. I'm thinking, OK, what's going on? And then I saw someone dressed in black jump off the train and start running in our direction.
And you spoke to the driver?
That's correct, yeah.
What did he say to you?
He told me that shortly after departing Peterborough, he had an emergency alarm pulled on the train. He said that was then followed by people frantically banging on his door, shouting that people are being stabbed. So the controller routed the train into platform 2 at Huntingdon so they could get the train stopped, get the doors open and just try and get everyone off to safety.
That driver was veteran Andrew Johnson, who's now recovering at home. Tonight, he told ITV News he was just doing his job. But there is little doubt that job saved lives. The busy train he was driving left Doncaster at 6:25 yesterday evening. It was meant to arrive at London King's Cross just under 2 hours later. About halfway through the journey, the suspect is thought to have boarded the train at Peterborough and begun stabbing passengers, injuring 10. By 7:42, the first call to police had been made and the driver alerted the control room, before making an emergency stop at Huntingdon, where within 8 minutes the suspect was arrested.
At this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident. This is a British Transport Police investigation, and we continue to work to establish at pace the full circumstances and the motivations that have led to this incident.
This video appears to show the suspect still holding the knife before his arrest. Police described him as a 32-year-old black British national, who witnesses heard shouting at officers.
He was holding the knife straight and asking the police to kill him. So he repeated like 3 times, 4 times maybe, "Kill me, kill me, kill me." So obviously the police used the tasers. They put him down, they arrest him, I think, and they keep him on the floor like couple minutes maybe.
Tonight, police forensics officers could be seen scouring the carriages. What evidence can they find to explain why anyone would wish to divert innocent passengers to hospital, where tonight one member of train staff, described by the driver as a hero, still has life-threatening injuries? Paul Brand, ITV News, Huntingdon.
Well, trapped inside train carriages with a marauding attacker on board, the horrors of last night were witnessed by mothers, fathers, children and rail staff. Today, our reporter Sam Holder talked to those who saw events unfold and those who ran to help.
An unscheduled stop, now the epicentre of a major incident. Huntingdon was simply the nearest station when the alarm was raised. The town overrun by a stream of blue lights and sirens. Locals sensed it was serious. Some, like Debbie and her daughters, went down to help. Almost immediately, they met a young woman.
She said that she was on the train and a man went to stab her and another man pushed her out the way and then stood in front of her and he got stabbed. So she was just traumatised. We didn't know what to do, you know, we didn't know who was who, you know. We didn't know what was going on.
Those who were stabbed were taken immediately to hospital, but some of those who bore witness to the horror on board were left to wander in a daze.
I saw a young guy and he had blood on his legs, on his lap. My sister went over to speak to him and she asked if he was okay, and he said to her, "Yes, it's not my blood."
By pure chance, Cambridgeshire Police Headquarters is less than a mile away from Huntingdon Station. The initial police response was rapid, the investigations more painstaking.
Local people came and were on site and were able to help some of those people first impacted by this incident. It proves what a caring town Huntingdon is, first and foremost, a caring county Cambridgeshire is, and it proves that everyday people are capable of extraordinary things.
The victims, the attacker, the train staff, may well have had no connection to Huntingdon at all. It was never the plan to come here, but it is a town now linked to a mass stabbing, a place that will never be forgotten by those on board and those who turned up to help.
And Sam is at Adam Brooks Hospital in Cambridge, where several of the victims are being treated. Sam, the actions of the rail worker who is in a life-threatening condition tonight are being described as heroic.
Well, that's right, Lucy. And this member of LNER staff isn't just being described as a hero by his colleague, but also by the police. Look, you heard in my report there this sense of people going above and beyond to help others during this horrific attack. Well, the police say that the actions of this LNER staff member undoubtedly saved lives. Now, he is in a life-threatening condition. We don't know any further details, like his name or age, or the extent or exact injuries he's suffering, other than that obviously they are very serious. In total, 11 people were taken to hospital for treatment. So far, 5 have been discharged. Again, we don't know the exact injuries those inside are suffering from, but some of the eyewitnesses described people being stabbed in the head and neck. So again, very serious injuries indeed. Adam Brook Hospital is the major trauma centre for the whole of the east of England. It was actually the first major trauma centre in the country. So it is specifically designed to deal with incidents like this, to treat these kind of injuries. It's 20 miles away from Huntingdon, but for that member of LNER staff, there is no better place to be receiving treatment at the moment.
Sam in Cambridge, thank you. Well, from the King and Queen to the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary, there has been shock and horror at the dreadful attack in Cambridgeshire. And tonight there are efforts to reassure the travelling public. Well, our political correspondent Harry Horton is here with me now. Harry, what has been the government response to this?
Well, ministers have been keen throughout the day to praise the emergency services, the train crew, the passengers who helped others during that attack. They've also been keen today to try and give police the time and space to carry out their investigations. Police, this morning, when they issued their statements about the 2 suspects, now 1 suspect who've been arrested, disclosed the nationality and ethnicity of those suspects, as is common practice now, and that's to try and dispel some of the misinformation that can sometimes spread online following incidents like this. Ministers also keen to try and reassure travelling passengers today. So there's been an enhanced police presence in London and in Huntingdon, but also at other major rail hubs across the country. So in Manchester, York, Leeds, Birmingham, for example. That will continue till at least Tuesday. There's been more police on LNER trains up and down the East Coast main line as well. There's been questions today about whether there needs to be enhanced airport-style security in train stations in the UK. I've spoken to government sources today. They think that incidents like this are quite rare, actually, and they say they want to try and balance security with the impact it would have on travel. So I'm told it's unlikely that ministers will look at that sort of enhanced security at train stations. There will be an update from the Home Secretary tomorrow in Parliament, where we'll get the latest on what the government response to this incident is.
Harry, thank you very much. Well, let's go back to our UK editor, Paul Brown, now. Paul, this has been a terrible 24 hours for all those affected by the attack, but there must be some relief tonight that it wasn't, in fact, worse, with the train driver and staff member apparently deserving much of the thanks.
Yeah, because often when incidents like this happen, we ask what could have been done differently to prevent it. But I think in this case, everyone I've spoken to believes that the train staff and indeed the police followed the textbook here, really. The train driver, the control room, by diverting to Huntingdon, meant that the train didn't have to stop in a remote part along the line somewhere else, or equally to have carried on to King's Cross, where perhaps the attack could have carried on for longer. And the police, in having that armed response here within 8 minutes, it meant that the attacker was apprehended quickly when he was still holding that knife whilst being here at the station. What we don't have tonight there still, though, is a motive. Police are working on that this evening. There was some confusion earlier in the day when we were told that 2 people had been arrested. One of those now, a 35-year-old man, has been released. No further action is going to be taken against him. He wasn't involved in this attack. And so we're back to what is a more common scenario of a lone attacker. It is still puzzling for some people that this is undoubtedly an incident that caused great terror but isn't being classed as terrorism. We've seen that before, though, with Southport, for example, last year, where there wasn't an underlying ideology. I think that's where police are focusing their thought tonight. We may well get more of those thoughts from the police in the coming days.
Paul in Huntingdon tonight, thank you.